the artist, isn't it? Islamic art.
Yeah. That's called.
Lang
Let's
Gaffel.
have a look.
That's
You
a
do
line.
these?
He drew that.
Yeah, I did these.
What does that mean?
That's a kalima, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's it representing?
It's represent also lion. It represents, you know, like power and nobleness, innit? You know the old Tabliki style. You know when the Sahaba used to go around giving dawah. This is like a style that like they were dressed in. Another one that you might find interesting is this one. Now what this one represents, it represents like even with all the rubbish that's going on our streets, you know what I'm saying, we've got tanks rolling through our streets. SubhanAllah, we live in England, we don't even recognise. You know, we see like a Humvee going through the street, we think it's something. Let's talk about tanks going through our streets here, and even with all this what's going on, the Muslims are still sticking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The deen.
Yeah, that's it, still sticking to the deen. Even behind the walls, we're still in the deen. This one took me hours.
It's beautiful.
Now what this represents, this represents, you know every time you see like the newspapers, every time you see like a Muslim lands, this is what you're always seeing every time, innit?
Yeah.
And I wanted to draw a picture of what you see in a newspaper when it shows like Muslim lands, innit? And this is what you're always seeing, it's the same thing. It's always the same thing. That's why it's in black and white as well, to represent like the newspaper. So as you can see, it's like mashallah niqabi, with like like a sheikh in the background, and they're hugging, and they're saying that you see how the sky is red. It's like representing that they're like through hard times they're like sticking together. Yeah. See, the red doesn't represent love, it represents difficulty. And he's saying that through this they're sticking together.
Unity, yeah.
And it's like, you know what I'm saying, it's like not just, and it's shown that like represents not only like the people inside the lands where these things are happening, but also represents the ummah, that we stick together through these hard times, innit? Inshallah, good times come as well, innit? That's the Jahannam, those called Jahannam. Yeah, so that's the hellfire, right? This represents a Muslim, and this is the straight path, You see that going across the hellfire, Now this smoke represents the angel of death, And this, obviously, the straight path, Subhanallah, Al-Fatiha, mashallah, That's called to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That also represents the Kaaba as well. And then this is Jannah in the background with Bismillah.
Beautiful. MashaAllah. See that? We've got meaning to it, isn't it?
Yeah, this is my best one for meaning. Well, my name is Arlie, and I'm 24 years old, and subhanallah, I was arrested a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, under Terrorism Act. They arrested my co-DJ, my co-defendants, the other brothers, and then like 10 days later they arrested me. 6 o'clock in the morning, smashed my door open. They're coming like an army, I'm like surrounded by like at least 9 guys, proper really, really big guys. I never seen anything like it. Like proper intimidating. I'm like some little guy in like some room full of like monsters. I wasn't even dressed properly. I was only wearing like some 3/4, to sleep in. And they won't even let me put a t-shirt on for like ages, I'm like, just let me put a t-shirt on, They was just like acting like dramatic and stuff like that. You feel scared to scratch your own nose. Interviewing me, like it's like interrogation, like 7 days, a full week of question about why this, why that, why the other. Not even saying why have you done this. It's like, do you think this? Why would you think this? Yeah, it's like what? So they're asking me really stupid questions. They even asked me, do you want to be a knight of Allah and paint the dawn with your blood? I mean, is that not the maddest? Wallahi, I'm serious. I got the interviews, they asked me that question. Seriously, they asked me, what kind of a question is that? And then they asked me, seriously, they asked me a stupid question like...
How did he answer that?
You just say no comment. And you know what it is, you want to answer the questions, right? But you have to say no comment, because what they do, you say you say it's a tiniest little thing, and they elaborate it into something like you're a monster. There was an example, I wrote a letter to my daughter, because it's like a separation. What happened is I got divorced, So what happens is I wrote a letter saying that look, there's no the problem's not your mum, your problem's not me. It's just this is like destiny, innit? This is your mum and me we never planned for it to be this way, but this is the way that it is, And the best thing is just that we live separate lives, innit, And it was very hard to write. very, very hard letter, but very important letter, okay? Because the last thing I want is for my daughter to grow up thinking that she wasn't loved or something, innit? You know, so what happens here is, as I said at the bottom, because I wrote this letter like 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, like, if I did not get to write this out neat, you know, if I did not live long enough to write it out neat, then I'm sorry that this is the only copy you can get. And that's because I wrote it late at night, and I wrote it out rough, and so obviously I thought I'm going to have to go to sleep, and you can die in your sleep. You know what I mean? As a Muslim, you know you can die at any time. So what happened is, they was asking me in the police interrogation room, oh, does this mean did you write this because you're going to do like a martyrdom operation and stuff like that, yeah? Yeah, you was going to do a suicide bombing, and that's what it is. And the courts, in the courts, yeah, they asked me, in the courts, they're trying to say, oh, we want to keep these people on remand, yeah, we want to keep them on remand, we don't want to let them go, yeah? And then, you know, the prosecution, you know what they say? Evidence to suggest that we should keep this person in like the prisons and stuff until the trial. The reason why we should keep him in remand is because we've got this note where it suggests a suicide note. These are clearly people with sinister intentions and shit like that, yeah. And you know what I mean? And people don't like you when you're a Muslim in prison as well, you know, in the north. Valmarsh is different. In Lancashire, if you're a Muslim, they don't like you. You know what I mean? And then you're a revert, and for reverts it's much worse. They double don't like you. And then what happens, and then you got the screws coming in, doing these strip searches on you, and you know when you're a Muslim on these charges, they strip search you every opportunity. Your dignity, what you've tried so hard to maintain, is stripped of you. Having to take your clothes off, squat down and stuff like that. That's real life. Real life. You know, I got brutally attacked in Preston prison as well. What happened, yeah, it's got people going around saying, oh yeah, that lad is here for terrorism, that lad is here trying to blow people up. And then you got like people like, you know, like really like low people like rapists, people who like doing like armed robberies on people, you know what I mean? Burgling, flipping houses when there's just like women inside and stuff like that. People like that, they're looking at you saying like, you're scum. And that's what they're doing. And they're all getting together, all these people, yeah, they're all getting together, flipping, trying to say, yeah, we're better than him. And they all want you. And what happened is that they put me on a cell, which was right in the end, away from the screw site, yeah. The same day that the minute the door opened, the first day that the door opened, yeah. So two guys came in, yeah. They rushed me in. One of them had a pillowcase over his head with eye holes cut out. And like a sock with like a tin in it and stuff. Seriously, they both proper like went for me. And the thing is, I was ill that day as well. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, yeah, they were much bigger than me, but at least if it was like a day when I was feeling alright, I could have defended myself a lot better. But the fact is, I couldn't defend myself that well because I was really, really ill, and I was shocked. The fact is, me, yeah, I'm not a violent guy or anything. You know what I mean? They're trying to say I'm a blue terrorist. I never even had a street fight. They can't believe they kill people. I don't even fight people. I don't even swear at people. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. They just take you from the highest place and they put you down in the worst category. You know what I mean? And when you're in prison, yeah, you're in a different environment. When you're used to being around good people, you know, really, really nice people, gentle people, and suddenly you put into like a rough environment. Honestly, it changes you, and it don't change it for the better. You know, the fact is, I was due to get married, like more than a year and a half ago. My marriage has been put on delay. You know what I mean? My marriage has been ruined. My reputation has been destroyed. My dignity's been taken. But the fact is, I've seen people, real criminals, yeah, who's been trialed, convicted, sentenced, and leave whilst I've still been on remand. 13 months on remand. That's not 13 months sentence, that's 13 months just holding you, waiting for your trial. And the judge and the prosecution as well, oh no, we're not ready, we need more time to prepare the trial. Another couple of months down the line, oh no, we have to delay the trial more. Oh no, a few months later, 3 times, yeah. Our trial should have been a year ago originally. I mean, I know non-Muslims, yeah, who's got guns, knives, grenades, that kind of stuff. I know people like that, yeah, but they ain't been charged with terrorism things, and they're ruthless people. I mean, they got much worse stuff. What, a few knives, yeah? The fact is, their knives cost more than guns to have. You know what I mean? The fact is, reality is, if we were really terrorists, we'd have bought fucking guns, not knives. Well, the fact is, it's just people are afraid to look into the books of Islam. People are afraid to type the word jihad onto the internet. So what happens is that because people are scared to look into the authentic sources, into legitimate sources, people are turning to scholars who are saying that they're saying that they're scholars, they're pretending that they're knowledgeable, and they're saying, oh, jihad is this and jihad is that, yeah. They're saying all this kind of stuff, And then people are believing them because they're too afraid to to go to the library and have a look at a real Muslim book. You know, just because you're a Muslim, that don't mean that suddenly you're on some jihad. No, that's not jihad. You know what I mean? Jihad is like just trying to be the best you can be. That's jihad. You know what I mean? Jihad is about striving to better yourself. And jihad is like about defending your honor. This is what jihad is. Jihad's not flipping acting daft, you know what I'm saying? The fact is that Muslims just look bad all the time. I haven't seen how many films have you seen where a Muslim is the good guy? I've never seen a single film where the Muslim is the good guy. Every time you see a Muslim, it's always a bad guy. And then they wonder why, you know what I mean? You keep on provoking. But if you look at how many people are charged under the Terrorism Act and how many people have been convicted, it's like that to that. And then the people who's been convicted, it's always Section 57 and Section 58, which means possession of articles for either the commission, preparation or instigation of acts of terrorism, which you can basically charge for anything in the world. And then it's impossible to prove its innocence because they're putting so many different angles on it. These are the bail conditions I've been given, yeah? I'm not allowed to live by myself, yeah? I'm not allowed a mobile phone, even though I'm allowed to use any phone, pay phone, anything, yeah? I'm not allowed a mobile phone, yeah? I'm not allowed access to the internet. I have to wear a tag, even though I'm in a monitored premises, okay? I'm not allowed out of Carlisle. I'm not allowed in Lancashire. I'm not allowed to speak to my co-defendants, but that's like a normal one, that. I'm only allowed out between 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's 4 hours only I'm allowed outside for.
So what's the future for you?
Depends on my trial. If I get convicted, then all my plans, they change. You know what I mean? I had plans, but the fact is when you've been arrested on the Terrorism Act, you know, the fact is I've got like a 13-month hole in my CV, that kind of stuff. You know, it's going to take me a long time just to get myself back to the way I used to be before. You know, all the psychological effects, you know, there's a lot of psychological effects. And physical health as well. You know, there's a lot. It takes a long time just to be able to fix that. Forgetting it, you know what I mean? That's before you can even look to the future. You have to think about what can I do tomorrow. It's like that. You know, lesson it's like 5 to 6, isn't it? So, all right. So, are we going?
Yeah.